Hey everyone, welcome to our special Saturday training. I know that today you are going to learn as much as what I am. I know I'm really excited. Oh my goodness, this light. I'm trying to get away from the light. I'm really excited because Clinton and Sarah have given their time to us. They are going to train today on just how to get started. What is your commitment? What is your motivation? And I know Sarah is amazing at systems, so she's going to share a little bit on the systems that will correlate to her workbook she's created. But these two people are incredible. I've been watching their journey for quite a few years, actually, since I've joined. I've been watching their journey silently in the background, just in awe of both of their stories and of their different unique pathways they've taken with their businesses, but they both reached elite level. So to me, that's huge to know that you can build your business, in different methods and ways, and you can still have an incredible business. So I'm going to introduce Clinton first. Clinton is a dad of 6. He's an incredible dad, incredible man, and he's given his time to teach us the systems. Now, I know he's going to share more in his story, but what really stood out for me was in the first 6 months of his business, he worked very hard and he actually did not have success as to what he was hoping for. But that did not stop him. He grew, he learned, and he succeeded. He's an elite. He's been elite for many, many years, and he's here to teach you what expectations you need on this business. Thanks, Clinton.
So you guys hear me okay? There's not too much background noise. Are we good? Okay. I'm grateful and honored to be here. And I feel that this is such a gift that we have in our hands to be able to teach other individuals truly what we have in our hands, not just like we have an all around opportunity with changing our lives. I was financially destitute when I got introduced to this. Sarah was in a health crisis, and we have the opportunity of sharing in so many different lights to change people's lives. I had never done network marketing before in my life. I was 26 years old, and I was seeking for that different direction. Is most everybody here from Australia or in Australia? Okay. There's a few that aren't. Okay. Well, I've been to Australia many times. I absolutely love it. I've been there with LifeVantage. We've had a pretty good team growing in Australia for a while. And in every part of life, no matter whether it's LifeVantage or this business, you'll always have you'll ebb and flow with life. You always have different things happen. And through this, I had no experience, 26, almost 27 years old when I got introduced to this. And in 3.5 years was able to reach the ranks of Pro 9, running towards Pro 10. And how did we create that stability in our life? And it wasn't easy. It wasn't simple. I'm grateful that Sarah's going to be able to share some more of like the digital aspect, because when we first started this, we had no digital aspect of LifeVantage or building this business. There wasn't really much social media. We did not have Zoom. So it was a lot of meeting in personal homes, and I still do that. But the opportunity of being on Zoom with you guys today and sharing this is an absolute incredible platform to reach the world. So 2008, I was made redundant. I lost everything. I moved into somebody else's basement at the end of 2008, beginning of 2009, looking for a different way. The education system here in the States was not for me. I barely graduated high school. I struggled through that process. I grew up around cattle ranching. I grew up around horses, just an outdoor person, grew up fly fishing. But my personality, being busy all the time and doing things, sitting down in a classroom was really difficult for me. In February of 2009, I was introduced to network marketing for the first time in my life. I had no experience in the industry, had never even heard of it. And I fell in love. I'm like, why is everybody not doing this? But when I went home, in the home that I lived in, I got the education very quickly of why people have an opinion about something they know nothing about. Because it's such a small cost, such a little risk, it can't be real, right? Well, 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks. So the 20th of February of 2009, I was introduced to Master Pro 10 Marcel Niederhauser. And never in my life had been introduced to somebody for over a decade that made the type of income that he was making, over 50 to 80,000 a month, and had done it in this industry. But I'd never met somebody that was willing to mentor somebody and just give them their time. At 26 years old, I did not have positive mentors in my life, or even the understanding of what direction to go in my life. But he taught me very simple behaviors. So when I first sat down with Marcel, he gave me a very clear perspective of my role over the, and set my expectations completely correctly. So what I'm going to share with you guys today, and Sarah will build upon it, are your expectations. This isn't a 2 month or a 3 month or a 4 month. So it wasn't for a lack of introducing these people. I was putting a ton of people in front of this, but it took me almost 6 months, 5.5 months to get one person to say yes to this. Now, we have a completely different opportunity in LifeVantage right now. We have peer-reviewed medical journals. We have patents. When I got started, I was the 60th person that signed on a piece of notebook paper to launch this company into network marketing, to take it from retail into network marketing. I was illiterate as a kid. I barely graduated high school. We were competing against GNC because that's the only place. So when we first started talking to people were like, well, I want the product. Well, you can go get it at GNC. I don't have it. And there was a lot of GNCs that didn't carry it. So we had a tough road ahead of us to even get the credibility that we had. One study, and it was the peer-reviewed medical journal on oxidative stress. That's basically what we had. And we had hoped that these other studies that are now coming out like crazy, that they would be positive. And I got the opportunity to meet Dr. Joe McCord at the very first event in June of 2009. I got to know him. I got to hear him speak. Everything went right over my head. I barely graduated high school right by it. What is it? Biology. I even forgot that word. Biology, like I flunked out of biology in school. So as they were talking about the science of this thing, I was like, it's honest, it's ethical, and I could run with this thing because I don't have to be, like, it doesn't have to go off my credibility. Well, as I got started, the expectation that Marcel set from the time that I first met him, he goes, if I could tell you guys anything, it's this. This is a 2 to 5 year commitment. If you will be dedicated for 2 to 5 years, and then he laid out some basic ground roles of what it would take, behaviors. What are those behaviors? At least 15 presentations a month. And a lot of people, like, as you go through this, it's like, okay, it can't be that simple. It is that simple, but what do presentations look like? A presentation is telling your story. Many of you on here have to learn how to tell your story of who you are, what your background, where you come from, what was missing. So I grew up without active parents in my life. And one of my biggest goals, so at 26 years old, when I got laid off, I had 4 children at that time. I have 6 children, single dad of 6. But do you know, from the age of 30 to 38 years old, or you even look at my daughter who's 13, I started this when she was 1. She doesn't know her dad to work a job. She doesn't know her dad to be gone. She doesn't know. I am fully present in her life. She doesn't know any different than these kids that have 2 parents working, or, you know, just to bring in money. Money dictates every decision that we make. And I, in 2008, when I got laid off, decided that I was going to do whatever I could to figure out how people created wealth. I wanted my time back. Time's our most valuable asset. Being an underground gold miner, that's what I was. I was an underground gold miner. I did explosives in the gold mines. Perth, Australia has some pretty cool gold mines. I've been over there drilling in the underground gold mines in Perth, Australia. And that's my first time that I came to Australia. The second time I came to Australia, I came to Australia for LifeVantage. But as I grew up in a very, very small state in the United States, I grew up in a very small town, very, very small town. And when I only went into what I knew growing up. Most of the people that I grew up with went into mining because they could make what most people, or more than what most people make out of college, without a degree or without even a high school education. So as Marcel sat down with me, there was 5 of us in the room, and he said, 2 to 5 years, at least 15 presentations a month. And the presentation is your story, the company story, and how it works, how this business is built and you make money. And it doesn't matter whether you're on a social media platform or whether you're in person or you're on Zoom. We all need to learn how to hear and learn what other people's stories are, their passions, their desires, where they're going. Because there's a lot of people struggling in society today that are looking for different ways. And we could share our story in a way that allows them and allows them to see that there is a different way. There is a different way of creating financial freedom and time freedom in your life. And it's not just the quality of life is one of the most important things as well. If you do not have the quality of life, you don't have a life. So 15 or more presentations a month. I had to learn how to do a presentation. I had to learn how to share my story. It was uncomfortable. I had to learn how to communicate and talk with people. I had to learn how to share the company story. What's so incredible about the company today is that you have leadership above you that is willing to help you learn how to share your story, to help you learn how to share the company story and how the business actually works. When we first started, it was like everybody was everywhere. We didn't have tools. We didn't have the entire ITT put together. There is an entire ITT that we know as soon as someone gets involved, we can start them off on a track exactly what they need to do from day one. The next thing is attending events. Attending events is crucial. They're in my own mind, they're non-negotiable. One of the biggest things that you'll go through in this business is the personal growth and development. Who I am today to who I was the end of 2008, beginning of 2009 is two completely different person. I can't even recognize myself. The way I think and the way I do things in life is two different ways, because I was taught and educated by mentors that understood how to look at opportunity, how to build a different life. If you hang around with 5 humble millionaires, what do you end up picking up? If you hang out with 5 drunks, what do you become? The 6th, right? It's just an analogy that can be true. And in the fact that I want to surround myself with individuals that are thinking differently, that want to change people's lives. We're a part of something that's bigger than all of us today. What Life Vantage is going to become is far beyond what any of us even understand because of what we have in today's health and wellness and where people are going. So attending all events, how are you going to become or understand leadership development if you don't attend the leadership development trainings that we have? From the Global Convention, which I hope that I get to meet all of you in person at the Global Convention in Salt Lake City in October. It is imperative that I be very real and honest with you. How do you expect to become someone else or to become a leader within the company and tell somebody what they need to hear and what they need to do if you're not willing to do it yourself? I have never missed an event. It has been one of the most crucial things that has gotten me to where I'm at today. So dead broke, living in somebody else's basement, starting 2009, to within 3.5 years, going from 26, almost 27 years old to 30 years old, reaching 50,000 a month in income with no experience. And it wasn't, I should have quit in the first 6 months. I should have quit because it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Well, it did work. It's just I had to go through so much personal growth and development to figure out and become the person that others would follow. I had to attend those events that would allow me to look at things differently. I went into each event open-minded, and it changed my heart. It changed my mind. It changed who I could become. I started learning from every average day people, no different than you and I, the struggles, the things that they went through in life. I grew up in a I had 4 stepdads by the time I was 5 years old. So I grew up in a very broken home. I didn't have a lot of direction in my life. For once, I was learning from individuals that had gone through those struggles in life, that had overcome them, that could help me become more. And they were giving me business advice. Like, this is where I could find truth and answers to not only build my personal life, but also build a Life Vantage business. The next thing that he taught me was how to stay in control of my business. Staying in control of your business is, if you want there's two reasons why people will come into your life in this business. They're either going to lead you to the ones that are going to do it, or they're going to be the ones that are going to do it. How do you know who they are? You don't. The only way you'll figure it out is through their actions. They will show you by what they do, but not by what they say. So are they getting on the team calls? Are they getting on the trainings that the company is putting together? Are they investing in themselves? Now, I want you guys all to understand, and I see most of you are women on here. Having children, running the home and doing things that you do, you can build this around your busy life. This doesn't have to overtake every aspect of your life. You still have things that you have to get done. You still have motherhood that you have to be, the home and taking care of the home. And I might not be speaking to everybody, but I want you to understand, I understand what it takes to take care of a home. Being a father that is full-time in his kid's life, the kids go to school with me, it's only me. It's only me running the home. I know what it takes full-time, taking care of those kids, getting them to school, making sure they get to their activities, grocery shopping. It's crazy what we go through in life and what it takes to take care of children and to give them a life that we want them to be able to explore their interests and be successful and teach them to be good. I just want good kids. I want kids that make good choices. But it's imperative that I be present in their life. For me personally, as a father, I want to be present. So I cannot have my business overtake every aspect and things that I need to get done. And it can't. What I love about LifeVantage is you get to schedule you. You get to schedule and you get to be you through that process. And staying in control of your business, say, I get Talita involved, I get Sarah involved, and she gets somebody else involved. While Sarah's taking care of life, what if I work with, and she gets Talita involved? What if I work with her? What if I'm helping Sarah at the same time? And we get to find those individuals. Well, I'll speak of an individual that is a Pro 7 over about 51 levels below me. I worked with them hand in hand. I met them in a meeting. They called me and attached themselves to me, and I taught them how to build this business like I was the person that enrolled them. I didn't enroll them. The other person did, but the other person disappeared. Had nothing to do with this. But as I worked with them hand in hand, like I stayed in control of my business. I wanted the volume. I wanted to help that person succeed. I wanted to teach them, and they were willing to go through what they needed to go through. They were willing to invest themselves into their business and into the company by staying engaged. And as I stayed engaged with them, working hand in hand, over a period of 11 months, they were able to go Pro 7. Working hand in hand with them. I didn't enroll them, but I stayed in control of my business, meeting those individuals that come into my business, giving my time and my energy, saying this is when I'm available, and helping them overcome their obstacles and objection, helping them learn their story, then how to share their story, creating a duplicatable process that was very simple. It's basically ITT without calling it ITT. Now we know how to, like, it's share the video, introduce them to me. Let me help you introduce them to the information and learn why you're doing this and why I'm doing this and how we can build it together, locking arms together. The same reason why I'm on this call, on this training today. I think it is imperative as a company that we lock arms around the globe. We have a gift to give people, and we have a company to build together. It doesn't matter what team you're on. It doesn't matter where you come from, but all together we are growing to grow this leadership together and help other people gain a different quality of life, the time freedom that they want, the quality of life through their health, like Sarah's gotten back in her life. So staying in control of your business is also staying in control of the company and meeting those individuals and helping set the correct expectations of what it's going to take to build this business. So when I say 15 presentations a month, that's introducing 15 new people to the information and saying, I've given you the information. What if you don't have to give the information? What if there is leadership that will do presentations for you to say, here's the information, can you do what they're doing? Can you share with other people and get them on a Zoom or in front of the information through other individuals to allow us to share the entire company, allow them to make a decision of what they want. The next thing is always do what you say you're going to do. Are you a person of your word? No matter where I'm at, when I commit to something, like I'm kind of not in like the most ideal place to where I'd be doing a training, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. This is where I ended up today, and this is the opportunity I have, and I'm going to give everything I have to help you guys understand that every single one of you deserve to be an elite. Are you willing to do the work that it takes to get there? Are you willing to lock arms with other leadership and become the leader you need to become so you can be that person that others want to follow, others want to? There's nothing different between you or I. I'm not like the best at anything, but I did learn the skills that I needed to learn to get to where I want to be. And I'm running towards Pro 10 because like where else do you have an opportunity within 10, 12 years to build $100,000 a month income or a $60,000 a month income? Like it's absolutely phenomenal. And you don't have to earn that type of income. You can get to where you want to be and be done. I personally wanted to get to where I was about $3,000 a month, so I never worried about a house payment ever again. And when I was able to reach Pro 7 and then Pro 8 quickly, I realized that in order for me to get to where I want to be, getting to Master Pro 10, I have to help a mass majority. I have to become a mentor and leader that can lead that many people. So I want you guys to understand how special you guys are all to this company. It doesn't matter whether you're brand new and you're just getting involved, or you've been here for 3 years and you're a Pro 2, Pro 3, Pro 4. You're crucial to this company's growth. And your story is going to change people's lives around the world. Are you ready to lock arms? Are you ready to become the person that you need to become so you can grow your leadership? Understand you need to develop yourself. You need to become the leader inside so you can help other people develop their leadership and understand what this company has. So are you going to introduce Sarah Kalita?
Clinton, I'd love for you to introduce it because I know that you guys work so closely together. But thank you for all of this. I'm like really excited. I love it. I love the real talk.
I'm grateful. You bet. I am grateful to be here, and I look forward. Like, we don't have to just do this one time. I'm willing to get on Zoom whenever we need to and continue to talk and grow as questions, because I had to grow too. And this is where leadership continues to be developed. Next, I got to meet Sarah about in May of this year. I knew who she was, but got to actually meet her in person. I got to meet her at a LifeVantage Academy training, and she asked me to do it in live. She was a little awkward about it at first because she was unsure of how to ask me, but to do a live in-person meeting, because she knows that that's the way I've done. I've been standing in front of people, doing presentations, coaching other people and training, traveling, and she's built her business completely different. She wasn't searching for an opportunity when she got introduced to this. She was looking to change her health. She wasn't even thinking that the product was going to change her life, but she decided to take the stupid yellow activator that then changed every aspect of her health. And then as she started growing, if you guys understand the digital platform, the app that we have today, it's because of her brilliant mind and who she is in this company. So as I started meeting her, I asked her for her help, because I'm not on social media. If you guys will see this, I don't build social media. I've personally enrolled 44 people in 12 years, and it's turned into almost 100,000 people in over 15 countries. And it's not because I'm good. I understand how to develop leadership. I've just never done it digitally. I've never done it this way. And I can't tell you how excited I am for you guys to hear from her, because she's not only built her business digitally, she's one of the fastest growing people in this company that did it fully digitally. So understand, she gets that, and she's going to talk about the system through building it. And it's no different than what I've done. So Sarah, I hand it over to you.
Thanks. If I have bad connection, you guys tell me. I'm also not where I expected to be at this time, but I would never cancel on you under any circumstances. I want to tell you a couple things I want to tell you a couple hiccups in my journey. I think it'll be good for you to hear, because I did not get the speech that Clint had about this business in 2 to 5 years. And in fact, my intention, once I had overcome my illness with Protandim, was to share with 100 people. And I thought if I told 100 people, those 100 people would go tell some more people, and my moral obligation would be complete. But what I didn't expect was for so many people to see the business vision before I did. And so then, of course, because I'm the leader, because I was first, I started feeling really bad that I didn't have a system for them to share. I had created one for myself. I was homeschooling my 3 kids, and my husband was deployed, and I was active in my church, coaching basketball, all these things. And so for me to educate 100 people, and you guys, I wanted to do that in 30 days. No one told me like 15 presentations, like none of that was all news to me. I actually don't even know if I had the blueprint or something like that in my platinum pack. I have no idea. So I created a system. It's ITT. And I remember listening to Brandon Cunningham talk about invite tool team. I'm like, that's exactly what I do. I ask a question. Are you open to looking at some information? Cool. Here's a video. Let me know what questions you have. Oh, you have questions. Let me have my friend Brienne, who's a nurse, answer those questions. By the way, you don't need a nurse to answer those questions, but that's what I did. And I did it wrong when I first started. But we grew so fast that I had to figure out how to teach people how to do what I was doing. And that was easy for me because I'm a systems guru. Okay. That's literally what I do. That's my background. I teach people, and I use tools and automations to do it. So I created an app and a system for teaching people how to quickly do this when they're homeschooling and they don't have time, they don't have education, and they really don't care what the outcome is. Someone asks a question, here's a video. Oh, you have a video, have a question? Great. Here's somebody that can answer it. That's literally what I did. And I went to Pro 5 in 3 months. And I didn't really understand how to collect the pay because I wasn't really in it for the business. And then someone said to me, there's Global Academy. This was in 2018. I had joined in June, and in October was Global Academy in Salt Lake City. I was living in New Orleans at the time. My husband was deployed. Don't forget this. I'd never been away from my kids for 10, almost 11 years, ever. As long as I've been a mom, I'd never been away from them. I hadn't even been on an airplane. And someone above me, I don't even know who it was saying, well, if you don't go to Global, no one on your team will go to Global. And I was Pro 5, I had a Pro 4, several Pro 3s, and a bunch of Pro 2s. So it's not like we weren't succeeding. They said, if you don't go, did I freeze? Am I good? I'm good. Okay. So if you don't go, they're not going to go. And you're taking this business opportunity away from them. And you can believe that I will never do the wrong thing for other people. So I figured out a way to get myself to Global. I drove my kids 4 hours to drop them off at a couple's house that we had met like 5 years before at a different duty station. I kind of trusted them. I dropped my kids off. I drove 5 hours back to get on an airplane in New Orleans, and I flew to Salt Lake City, came back from Salt Lake City to New Orleans, drove from New Orleans to Pensacola, picked up my kids and drove back. Okay, I did that all by myself. And I hadn't even had clothes to go in public, let alone to a conference that was for a business, right? But at that conference, I was inspired about the leveraged income. And I watched people look at my team, and they were looking at us like, what did you guys do? How did you duplicate so many pace setters? Because we had the pace setter program there at the time. How did you do that so fast? And I was like, I did exactly what people say to do. You invite people to take a look at the ABC video or the first video, whatever you guys use, and then you have somebody answer their questions. That's what we did. To me, I was just doing what everybody said you should do anyway, okay? But I didn't realize that it was because we had systematized it and made it so simple that that's what created our success. So in 15 months time, I went from 0 to Pro 7. And when I created the Pro 7 business, it was another Pro 6, 4 other Pro 5s, 12 Pro 4s, and about 40 Pro 3s, okay, and a bunch of Pro 2s and 1s. So it wasn't just one person taking off. Like Clinton talked about, growing leadership in your team is a big, big deal. If you don't trust the system, you can't really create leadership. And the system, ITT, isn't unique or new. It's just a really nifty acronym that allows us all to teach the same principles and behaviors and use a really simple, easy to remember word. If you read any network marketing book, and I'm sure you have, and if you haven't, you need to, they all talk about the same thing. Get to know people, build a relationship, ask them questions, find a reason to invite them to take a look at your business or your product, share some information with them. Don't use your mouth, use a tool, right? And then use some third-party validation to help you close that conversation. There's nothing new or unique about this. Our digital app is a different story, okay? But don't go searching for the next shiny object. Stick with the principles and behaviors that have been true to network marketing since the beginning of network marketing. It's just networking, creating relationships, asking good questions, and sharing information. Now, with that being said, is there a strategy that can make you go faster using digital tools? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I have to tell you that I never, even though I had hit the elite ranks, and I even earned the life venture really, really quickly, and I didn't even really understand what it was. So when they gave me a bunch of choices, I was just like, wait, when is this happening? I didn't know it was that month. I didn't expect for I knew my health had changed, but I didn't expect my life to change. So I picked my kids up in February of this year and moved us from New Orleans to Salt Lake City because I love this area. And for my entire life, both as a military spouse and then as a child of a mom who had to move all over the place because of her career, I've never had a home that I could just be in and never leave unless I wanted to. That has never been a choice for me. And so today, the reason I'm in my car is I had to come up to a different city to get some paperwork taken care of, to get the paperwork, to whatever it's called, to finish buying a house by the deadline today, which was 5 o'clock, which was when this meeting started. So I just want to tell you that LifeVantage not only brought back my health, but it's created like this entirely different lifestyle for me and the kids. And I'm kind of in awe, and I'm a little shaky about it, to be honest. So with that being said, how many of you do not have the 90-day one team workbook in front of you? Does anyone not have it? Do you all have it? You guys don't? Okay. I'm going to try to share my screen. I hope the internet is okay, but I'm going to go through it kind of quickly because in no situation would I ever take a distributor through this, like every single page in one sitting, because that's not how busy people learn. Can you see this okay? And am I still all right with my connection? Okay. So the very first thing, and this is no different than the launch video that's in the LifeVantage app. So when someone becomes a distributor, and if you haven't done this yet, you can do it now. You need to download the LifeVantage app from the Google Play Store or Android or whatever it's called, or the Apple Store. When you download the app and you input your distributor ID and your password and you start to go through it, it's going to ask you questions. It takes less than 6 minutes to go through that entire thing. In fact, I think it's 4 minutes, where you set up your website, your display name, and you fill out your goals. If you've already downloaded the app and you don't remember how to find your goals, go to people and then me, and then people, me, and then the info button on the far right, and then it'll say completeness. You can click the word show details, and you can click set up your business website, add your personal info, or add your get focused goals. If you want to update your goals, click the add your get focused goals and fill those in. Take a screenshot and send that to the person who either enrolled you or the person who's actively working with you to build this business. And they can change. My goals have changed. I want to help people have the type of lifestyle that I have. That was not my goal a year ago. So it's okay to update those, but that's very important that you fill those out. And then you just want to go to your app and start following the prompts. And then if you've already done the prompts, you would just click the logo and add a prospect. This is the part where you can start inviting. There are 2 ways to go about it. If you already met someone on social media, or you met them at the soccer game or whatever else, and you've already kind of initiated that conversation, you've kind of said, hey, would it be okay with you if I shared some information with you about what I do or about the products that I take? The invite's already done. You can still use the app to continue educating people. So I recommend that you put them in anyway and just say, I already did this step if you've already invited them. But if you haven't, click the options either for health or lifestyle. And then it's going to give you a suggested script. you're welcome to edit those. The biggest thing is to practice asking someone an open-ended question. Are you open to taking a look at, and even if you don't say, are you open, because it doesn't feel comfortable, it's totally open. It's an easy question for me to ask because it's something I've done my entire life. But in your mind, you're thinking, how do I ask them if they're open? You could say, would it be okay with you if I sent you some information about a life-changing product that might help you? You know, whatever feels comfortable, practice it, copy it into your, save it into your notes and just paste it in there whenever you want. And custom scripts are coming in October, but you didn't hear that from me. So you can save your favorite ones. But the point is just to ask a question. You don't ask people to buy, you ask people if they are open to information. You don't ask people to join your team, you ask them to look at information about what you do. Okay, so that's the thing, that's the invite. And so from the invite, you're gonna go into the tool. So you've added someone to the app, and the first option is going to be to send either the flip video with LifeVantage. And if you guys are in Australia and New Zealand, your options may be slightly different. And I think some people hate the flip video because they dubbed like an Australian accent over the American, and it might just be really terrible. So it's okay not to use that. We've put a secondary option in there where it says use my own tool. Click that option and then paste your own URL, like your own YouTube video, like there's the little yellowpill.com, or I don't know, there's all kinds of websites, whatever you guys love to use, that's what you put there. And then you can proceed. And the app is going to let you know what to do next. Now, if you use the flip video in LifeVantage, it's going to tell, or any video in the ITT section that is in the app itself, so not your own URL, it will notify you when someone watches that video. It'll say, hey, Toledo watched the flip video 37 minutes ago. What would you like to do now? And you can just push the buttons and start following along. It will guide you through Invite Tool Team. It will literally tell you what to do next. Doesn't this sound like a really great option for really busy people? It's created so you don't actually have to know what you're doing. You just have to be willing to push the button and have the conversations. So after the tool is sent, you're then going to complete what we call team. Team is really just another simple term for third-party validation. You're either going to send a live overview invitation, you're either going to send them a recorded overview, there's some in the app, there's the learn video inside the app, or you're going to set up a three-way chat or voice clip in Facebook, text message, WhatsApp, whatever you want to do. The point is to connect with a third-party validator who's going to help you tell the story, and it's not just yourself. So you will want, like Clint said, you'll want to practice being able to tell your story. Maybe you haven't had a great product experience, like, I mean, not a great one, like you haven't had a life-changing product experience, but you know that this is something you want to take forever. Be able to tell that in 2 to 3 sentences. Why did you decide to take LifeVantage products? Is it because you saw it as a business opportunity? Then say that. So when you get ready to do that third party, that team, that third party validation, this is where you'll make sure you have told your story. The person who's going to do the presentation, or if it's a third party, they're still going to tell their story. And then they're going to tell the company story and how to get started. This is the same whether it's product or business. And I'll tell you where I went wrong in the beginning of my business. I only told the product story because I still didn't like network marketing. I thought it was ridiculous to have to recruit people, and we don't have to. Our compensation plan, I've tried to figure out why they're so generous with us. We don't have to recruit people. And when I have this conversation with people, I say, you don't have to recruit other people to be successful in this business, but you need to be excited to share the full story with everyone. I want you to be excited about the products first, and then it's okay to develop your excitement for the business later. That's okay, but everyone should agree that everybody deserves and needs to know about our products. So that's the reason why I went so fast to Pro 7, but we slowed down a little bit at Pro 7 because we only told the product story. And not everybody is good at telling the product story. And you know what? I also went off the deep end with the science because I'm a health psychologist. And of course I want to tell you all the studies. If I could go back, I would erase that presentation from my history. I would go back and tell the company story and the whole, like how this works, how our business opportunity works. Not because I want to and recruit more distributors from the beginning, but because it duplicates. And duplication sounded like a really phony, weird thing to me. And I'm being raw and real with you guys. I'm just telling you all the things I learned at the beginning as a snotty person who didn't believe in network marketing. But I realized that duplication is not just something fake, it's real. Whatever you do, other people will do. Whatever you do, people can or cannot see themselves doing it. So are you like I was? Are you going out telling people everything there is to know about the genes, the genetic options and benefits from Protandim, all the PubMed studies? If you're going out telling them that, your first people that you talk to, like your one-to-one conversations, those people are going to be wooed by it. They're going to sign up and they're going to do exactly what you're doing. But every level that comes in after that is going to lose that layer of influence, and they're going to be not as good at telling the science story as you are. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And so in my 9th level, I've got farmers, I've got blue collar workers, I've got people who have nothing to do with the healthcare industry whatsoever. Do you think that they can duplicate the presentation that I used to do when I first started this business? They could, but they'd really have to study it and practice, and they probably would never feel confident and comfortable doing it. So I kind of did them a disservice by being super science heavy. So, and I'm sorry to belabor that point, but it's just like one of those things. I know that most of you guys are super into the science. I want to help you avoid that problem that I had. So tell your story. Your presenter will tell their story, and then you're going to tell the full story, the products along with the business. Okay. So that's ITT. Now, Clinton said, you know, you do 15 presentations a month. So 15 people are going to get to the team or the full overview section of the ITT. For me, I want to put 25 people into my app every single month. Why do I do 25? One, it's what we decided as a company to put into the app. And two, if I can talk to 25 new people and invite them, at least 15 will get to the point of watching the presentation, and at least 5 to 8 of them will make some kind of decision in the next 30 days. With social media, decisions are made a little slower than in person. When you get people in an in-person event, the energy is there and they feel a little bit more compelled to make a decision. When it comes to social media, it's perfectly normal to talk to someone over the course of 30, 60, 90, 3 years. It doesn't matter. It takes longer. Do not get discouraged by that, but that's why the consistency matters so much. If you talk to 25 new people a month, put all of them into the app, 15 of them should watch the presentation, and within 45 days of, you know, when you started your business, you'll start to see results. So whatever you did today affects your results 45 days from now. That's why consistency matters over just cramming a bunch of work and then, you know, skipping for 5 days. I do take Sundays off, but doing the work every single day for an hour, if you're building on social media, I don't know how you would do it in person. I mean, Clint goes and gets phone numbers whenever he's at the park because people just like to talk with him and he likes to talk with them. So apparently he does his business wherever he goes. But for social media, it's an hour checklist, and that's included in this workbook. And if you don't have it, Talita can help you get it, or else you can reach out to me somewhere and I'll get it to you as well. So I'm not going to go through all of these simple things, but this is why the workbook's super helpful. Okay, it's going to go through what exactly the third party, how do you set it up? Okay, that's what it's going to do. Now, if you guys are on social media and you have a customer education group, like an ATM group, customer education group, there's a whole bunch of them. I'm not sure if you guys have one. I don't recommend each distributor creating one. And here's why. Facebook algorithm doesn't benefit you if you're not having lots of engagement in your group. So you're better off teaming up with your entire group. Okay, like as many people as you can get together, team up. Yes, it's a pain, it's a lot of work, and I have all Pro 4s and above. I train them on how to be an admin, and we have rules to follow so that they know how to admit people and tag people. So you guys do have one group that's really good. So for us, you have to tag someone in a welcome post so that we know who that customer or prospect belongs to. So ATM for me is a method of follow up. I know in the early days of social media for network marketers, ATM was like the bee's knees. That's the only thing you had to do. Just add them to the group, tag them in some stuff. People have caught on to that and it feels really spammy and inauthentic. I use ATM as a follow-up. It's not my first line. Okay, so I'm going to invite, I'm going to share a tool. I'm using the app. primarily using the app for invite tool. And if I can't quite get them to team to the overview because they're not really watching the ABC video, or they're kind of just stringing me along, then I use the ATM group. I'll say, hey, I know we were talking about migraines and everything the other day. I have a group that has a whole bunch of stories. I'm adding you to it, or I'm sharing them the link, or I'm going to take a screenshot of a story that's relevant to them and I'm going to send it to them in Messenger or text. It's a follow-up method now. Okay. It's no longer 2017. So this is a good way to just, yeah.
Can I just ask you, can you share with everyone how you take someone from Messenger contact to the app? That's just, you mentioned that the other day in your training, and it was a really great takeaway.
So here's the thing. Facebook, if you haven't noticed, is censoring anything natural, herbal, and in fact, I mean, LifeVantage should really be careful, okay, as a whole. We can't talk about that stuff on Facebook. So when you're in Messenger or you're in a group and you're talking about health stuff and you want to share some of this information, you need to ask for their phone number. And it's because, and you can just straight up say, hey, I would love to send you this information, but Facebook really doesn't like it. Okay, I could get myself banned if I send this type of information because it's so natural and herbal, and that's not what Facebook stands for. So I need your phone number. I'm going to put it into my little app, and it's just, I'm going to send you a quick video. Okay, so it's very important. Don't get risked. Do people get creeped out? If you ask with confidence, they shouldn't. And honestly, if they're creeped out, do you really want to risk getting your Facebook profile shut down because someone won't give you their phone number? I don't. So if that person will not give me their phone number, I might entice them by sharing my ATM group with them and be like, look, okay, obviously I haven't earned your trust enough. Let me show you some information in this group. And then they can look at the group and then they can say, okay, yeah, I really do want to know I really do want to know about that. And they'll give you the phone number. So, and if I've only had maybe 2 people over the last 2 years that wouldn't give me their phone number, and I just didn't continue having the conversation with them, and that's okay. It's not worth it to me. I've seen too many people, like, I don't know if you guys know Becky Taylor. She's built her business for like 9 years or something on Facebook and completely got deplatformed and could not regain it. It's not worth it. You're basically willing to give away your entire networking tool if you don't want to follow the Facebook rules. So that's how I do that. And that was a really good question. Here, I'm not going to go over these either, but in the workbook, I talk about different ways to follow up because again, social media, you're going to talk to people about 6 times more than you would talk to someone in person when it comes to helping them make a decision. Never feel like following up is a nuisance, because if you open up your phone or your computer right now, are there any of you that don't have more than 20 tabs open in your phone or your bookmarks or something? Maybe someone's really organized, but okay. So how many times have you opened up like a tab for a book? You're like, I'm going to go check out the book and someday I'm going to order it. And like a year later, like, oh my gosh, this book is so cool. I just found the tab and I forgot about it, right? That's exactly what happens to people when it comes to these products and this information. It's not that they weren't interested. It's just that they got busy and they forgot about it. So you can follow up with them. And here's another thing about social media. When you post consistently anything, and you talk about your products or your business in your stories consistently, it's a form of follow-up, because people will see that you're still talking about it and it will help them remember. And then here's an advanced tip. If the person that you're kind of waiting for them to check out because you've had a good conversation, everything's going really well, or they're really thinking about the business, but they haven't decided yet, if they view your story about your products or your business, if you're doing it every single day or every single week at least, then you can just send them a message and be like, hey, Mary, I know we just chatted last week about the business. I wanted to follow up and see if you had any questions, because they viewed your story. It doesn't feel weird now because you're kind of just popping in because they saw your story about your business. You're talking about, whatever you're talking about the business. So after several follow-ups, about 3 or 4 times, I do a polite takeaway. On social media, this is really important because you need to continue building that relationship, because it just wasn't, either they didn't trust it enough, the meter wasn't fed enough, so they didn't feel like they were ready to check out or make a decision on the business, but you still want to be friends. So it's good to say something like, hey, Mary, it seems like right now isn't the right time for you to start a new business or join me in business or buy or check out the Nerve 2 activator, something like that. Let me know if something changes in the future. How's your summer going, or how's your winter going, right? Continue, just, you're like cutting it off, letting them know you're not going to ask them about it again unless they bring it up, or maybe you'll ask them again in a year. But do the polite takeaway, and you can do this in the app as well. I actually do it mostly in the app. All right, so in your first 30 days, you will want to do 25 people through the ITT, and then you continue doing that every single month. When you're a brand new distributor, or if you're a distributor who's struggled with this business and you want to relaunch yourself, 25 names through the ITT. That's all you focus on the first 30 days. Then the second 30 days, you start focusing on social media. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about social media if you guys have time. The other thing, if you are very serious about the business, as I think most of you are, it's Saturday morning for you out there, you want to do what I call a launch event. A launch event is where you either host something in person, host something online, go live with someone, interview someone, or really direct all your invitations to one specific event. So if your guys' team does a presentation once or twice a month, like, you're just going to pick one and you're going to direct all your effort to get a lot of people to that event. Or if it's like flip the switch on Tuesday night that corporate, like the whole field is doing, and you really, really like that presenter, you know, if you're like, oh, Brandon Cunningham's presenting on Tuesday night, or Rachel Jackson, or whoever, just really focus your effort to that. Okay, that's a launch event. You should do one of those a month. It's sort of like speeding up the process of getting a lot of people in front of the information, and it's going to give you kind of like renewed energy. So I feel like that's a very important thing to do. All right, so here's the launch activities, okay? And after that, so once you've done 25 ITTs, you've officially graduated from ITT training, okay? But you can't skip that. You have to do 25, and I really recommend doing all 25 through the app. There's a goal setting sheet in here that I think is important. There's some links to videos that I've given, and Toledo will have access to a few more. But I just want to teach you a tiny bit about social media. Are we okay on time, Toledo?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. All right. So you're going to want this workbook, because I'm going to go through it really quickly, but everything you need to know is in here. Okay. So the first process on social media is FAM. You're finding new friends, you're adding them as a friend, and you're messaging them. You're basically telling them, why did you add them as a friend? If you really want to next level this, look up text replacement, Google it. How do you set up text replacement? So when I FAM someone and they add me as like they accept it, so you know how Facebook will notify you like so-and-so accepted a friend request, and you can do this on Instagram and every other platform, but I'm just primarily focusing on Facebook. In my text replacement, I type the letters FAM1, and it will literally say, hey, thanks for accepting my friend request. Facebook suggested we be friends, and I tend to agree. We have a lot in common. How are things where you are? I don't have to type it. I just type FAM1, and it spits that out. And most people aren't going to respond, but the people who do, I'm now in a conversation with them. And what do I do after I open up that conversation? I word them. This is like Lord. There's all kinds of acronyms for this, but basically you're asking them 4 specific questions to kind of uncover more about them. Where are you at, or what's going on where you are? Because sometimes you already know where they are. What do you do? And you tell them, usually you tell them a little bit about you, like, I'm an entrepreneur, I work from home, like in nutrigenomics, or whatever you say, and say, so what do you do? And then you ask them, like, what do you guys do for fun? Or if you know that they're a homeschooler or they have something in common with you, go ahead and talk to them about what they like to do. Then you can ask them, you don't have to ask them like, what are their dreams? But basically you're kind of looking for a bigger vision. Like right now with everything that's going on, my favorite question is kind of to ask, like, are you guys worried at all about your career and financial situation with everything that's going on? And I'm getting some of the craziest responses, like, we're actually trying to flee the state. You know, there's just a really good opportunity to have a conversation and build a lot of rapport. When you feel like you've uncovered enough information about the person and you've given some value, wait 2 days, and then you can consider inviting them to something. You can invite them to look at the ABC video, to learn about a product that might help them based on the information they just gave you during the word process. You're going to invite. So we just went from FAM to word to ITT, and then ATM to follow up, right? So that's the social media process. When you're posting on social media, you are not trying to sell your products. Facebook terms of use clearly states do not sell. Do not sell. If you're not on a business page and you're not paying for ads, do not sell, do not recruit. They do not look kindly on network marketing at all. So what are you posting? You're posting to create a conversation. So if you're ever not sure, if you're like, oh, I really like this graphic corporate just made about like a promo, should I post it? Well, are you selling the product or are you creating a conversation about the product? Now in your stories, you have a little bit more leeway. I would highly recommend only putting product images and promos in your stories. If you don't know what Facebook or Instagram stories are, definitely go check those out. Like go Google it or look on Instagram. So what does my hour of power look like? This is what you guys came for, I'm sure. The hour of power is this. I plan all of my social media posts on Monday nights as a team, and you guys are welcome to come and check those out. They're from 7:30 to 9:30 Mountain Standard Time every single Monday night. The Zoom is pretty much the same always. So I create my posts for the week. I do post 7 days a week, but I really only do the hour of power 6 days a week. Have your post ready to go. Go spend 5 minutes famming. I use a timer. Go spend 15 minutes wording the people that you fammed yesterday, or the people that maybe you are just starting this for the first time ever. Go find, people on your friends list that you haven't talked to in a long time and word them. Because you've already fammed those people, you found them, you added them, you should send them a message and start up a conversation. How many of you have 1,000 friends? Pretty sure you haven't had a conversation with all of them. Go strike up conversations for 15 minutes. Then go spend 10 minutes doing your ITT. So you're either inviting people in Messenger, and then first of all, you got to get their phone number. You're going to be like, hey, would you be open to seeing some information about what I do from home? Awesome. Give me your phone number and I'll send you a video. Okay. That's kind of how that conversation goes. So you're going to spend 10 minutes either inviting in the app because you've got people's phone numbers already, or you're going to invite and get their phone numbers in Messenger or whatever social platform you're on. And then you're going to spend 10 minutes asking for a decision, which is really just another way of saying following up on people that you already have in motion. If you're just starting this, you're just going to divert those other 10, those 2 sections of 10 minutes to some other activity, because you may not have people yet to invite, and you may not have people yet to ask for a decision. And then for 10 minutes, you're going to go give value on social media. You're either going to go comment on other people's posts, you're going to go view people's stories and actually engage in them, like send comments to them. Build up rapport, because Facebook wants to see you, every social media platform actually wants to see you doing what you're supposed to do, talking to people, adding friends, giving value, making posts, commenting on posts. That's what they want you to see. You're feeding the meter by doing those activities for 10 minutes. Then you're going to post your post for the day. And I highly recommend being so consistent with posting that there's just never a break in service. Because do you think you'd ever want to join someone in this business if they tell you that, oh, you can build this business with me on social media, and they're not consistent? Do you think that they would trust that? I can tell you at least 5 distributors who've joined my team because they said, I saw you be so consistent on posting about this for years that I decided that I wanted to join you. They didn't even know what it was. They just knew that I was consistent and I was passionate about it. It's very important. I also had a lady recently who wrote me a letter. She wasn't sure what I was asking because I made a curiosity post about the business, actually about the community that our business represents. And she said, I can tell that you're a great leader because every time I see you post about doing something with business, you guys are never doing anything with business. You're doing life, like you're out with your kids, other people's kids. And so whatever you post on social media, they're watching, even if they're not responding and commenting, which is why consistency is so important. So that's where you feed the meter, do the things before you make a post, because you're basically asking for you're taking by making a post, you're asking for engagement, you're asking for people to talk to you, and Facebook will only do that and help you out if you've fed the meter. Okay, I'm not going to talk a ton about attraction marketing, but in the workbook I go through it. This is deep work. I would recommend 3 hours of going through the attraction marketing section, okay, where you're exploring your purpose, because this business, you will never be successful in it if you don't grow yourself personally. And Clint touched on that. And I had no idea. I could tell you guys so many stories of really hard things that I went through in the last 3 years, that part of it was due to the business and part of it wasn't. It was just life. But when you go through it, it helps you, because if you, as a Pro 7, I can honestly tell a Pro 5 what it's like to watch your business flatline for 3 months before you finally see it climb. And I can tell them what to do and what not to do because I went through it. You have to go through the hard things. So social media requires more of you than even this business, because you have to kind of spill your guts. Okay. I mean, you don't have to tell them the dirty, but you got to get pretty close. You're going to tell them the honest truth about everything. And that's what this uncovers right here, is kind of going through your values, your passion, your gifts, your experience, your impact, and your motivation. Spend a lot of time journaling on these, no matter if you're male or female, you need to do it. And then this is just a mindset assessment. Your avatar, this is something you'll have to get really good at, but I will tell you that it shifts. So my original avatar was the chronically ill mother. My new avatar is the mother who's looking for a financial option to support her lifestyle. And a lot of that has to do with freedom. A lot of that has to do with giving up their careers because they're homeschooling their kids full time, because they don't want to put their kids in the schools given this, the pandemic. So that's my new avatar. When you learn how to go through these questions, you'll be able to shift avatars as you grow, because you will outgrow your original avatar. Okay. And I could go find a bunch of chronically ill moms and sell them the products. I absolutely could. That's the low hanging fruit. But I want to speak on social media to the fruit at the top of the tree, right? Those really hard to reach people. Because if I can reach them, then the low hanging fruit's going to come in too. Okay. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean, obviously our products can help the chronically ill mother, and that's extremely easy to talk about. But if I can talk about the business opportunity and attract those women in first, then my business will grow faster, because I've learned now that talking about only the product means going slower. So this finding your avatar is another deep section. Okay, you want to spend a lot of time answering these questions. And I talk about branding yourself, because you're not branding LifeVantage. If you have LifeVantage plastered all over your page or your profile, go remove it. Don't put your link on your social media. If you do, it's in link in bio, like those little special pages, because again, no one's going to click your bio link and buy something unless you're a micro celebrity on social media. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't even happen for me, and I'm not really a micro celebrity. But I can make a referral like, hey, what's my favorite mood booster? Or instead of caffeine or coffee, I do this instead. I can make graphics, and like that will link through to the Axio page, but I don't just put like sarahharding.lifevantage.com or whatever my website link is. That doesn't work. Okay. And it also, just when someone's deciding if they want to be friends with you or not, they're going to see that in your profile and they're gonna be like, she's just adding me, or he's just adding me as a friend because they sell something. So go through the branding checklist. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be super pretty. If you guys go back to 2018 and look at my profile, it'll make you feel really good about where you're at today. Okay. And then I just want to touch on consistency. There's a lot of stuff in here to talk about in that workbook, and I want you to go through it. But when it comes to consistency, this is what you do. You want to give value in everything that you do, whether it's in person or on social media. And that means, your post is a value that's giving people value, but you also want to give stories, and you also want to comment on other people's things. That's giving value. But doing that consistently helps people want to be friends with you, especially in Facebook groups. I know it used to be a thing where you could go into sickness groups and just like add people, be like, oh, hey, have you ever heard of Nerf 2? And then you'd add them as a friend. You're going to talk to hundreds of people before you actually have like 10 customers that way. I much prefer creating authentic relationships and bringing them to your profile, and then letting them watch your consistent social media plan play out. So here's the whole social media content plan. It's very simple. Okay. And so this is on page 35 in that workbook. And if you guys want to get into a blitz, there's a blitz in here to just kind of make it, fast amount of action. So this is all you would do in a day. You're going to FAM, you're going to Word, and then you're going to invite. You're going to share the tools so you can go through the ITT. You're going to follow up using ATM or any other method. You're going to give value on social media. You're going to process enrollments. You're going to tend to your team and give excellent customer service. The app is your best friend for excellent customer service. Wednesday nights, the company does Activate Wednesday, and we show you different ways to use the app to manage your business. If you guys haven't seen Amy, our digital assistant, she will help you with customer service. When someone cancels an order, hasn't placed an order, needs help with an order, it looks like they might try to cancel, but they couldn't figure out how to cancel, it's going to alert you and you can follow up with them. I think the other day it showed me that since Amy dropped about 4 months ago for me, I have maintained or regained $39,000 in my business and 50 plus members, whether they're customers or distributors, I'm not sure, just by using the app and Amy to maintain the business I've already created and my team. My team gets these alerts too. If you're super brand new, you wouldn't be getting these alerts just yet. But if you start using the app from the beginning and providing good customer service, you can maintain the business that you've created. So it's very, very important. Okay. And so there's a couple of the bonus things in here for you on how to follow up and how to educate people after they've become a customer or after they've become a distributor. Okay. You can educate them on new products. I don't know how many times I've run into distributors who've been here longer than I have. And they're like, oh, I haven't talked to my customers in 10 years. Like, really? There's so many new products to go tell them about. That's a missing opportunity. And if you've had a customer for a consistent period of time, it would be really good to invite them to the business opportunity. So that was a crash course. I hope that was okay. Are there any questions or anything that you want to like poke my brain with? Poke me? I don't know. That came out wrong.
That was just huge. I feel like it's so much like this massive wave just came over the top of me, and then it's like, oh my God, how am I going to backfill all that?
Well, that's why there's a workbook and it's been recorded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved all the content. There was one thing that I was wondering about with the follow-up. In your follow-up, you have the first one is because you're assuming that they're going to order. And I wanted to know, in the ITT, where do you send your link? Like, where do you actually send the shopping link? Do you wait until they say I'm ready to order, or like, yeah?
Yeah. So that's something you kind of finesse. So for me, if it's like a curiosity post specifically about a product, I will say, yeah, like if it's an Axio, I do a lot of Axio ones because it's easy to talk about on social media. I will get their phone number. I will send them the link to buy Axio, like with a $10 off customer link or 15 in your guys' currency, I believe. I'll go grab my favorite customer's referral link. I'll go make a cart for Axio, and I will send it in the app and say, here's that brain drink I was talking about, and here's a video to watch if you want to learn more about why it works. And I'll send an Axio specific video. If they watch it, the app will tell me, and then I will send them the ABC video. Now, if I'm talking about activation or anything else, I'm just going to send the ABC video and the link to NRF2. The reason I do that early is so that they get cookied. And if you guys don't know, cookies are just like when someone visits your website, anytime they go to lifevantage.com, it'll just automatically take them back to your website. So not someone else's. Do the overview video links from YouTube sent in Messenger risk our Facebook account? It's what I've been doing, but I will start to work in the app immediately. I'm interested in how risky the overview video. Yes, honestly, any link. Facebook doesn't want you to direct traffic off the platform. And if you send the same link over and over, whether it's the same day or the same week or month, they know, and they'll start to like cause problems for you. So I just don't do it pretty much ever. I don't even put links to my own stuff in posts. Like if I'm referring to my own blog, I won't put the link in a post, but I'll put it in a comment. I don't usually send it by Messenger. I'd rather tag someone in something.
So if we had an overview in the community group, we could tag people, get them in the group, tag them in that, or send it via the app.
Yep. And I like to download the original presentation and embed it into, like, put it as a video in the group instead of putting a link in the group, just for that exact reason.
Yeah, we do that.
I mean, yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Good question.
Any questions, ladies? Oh,
I think I have one. Sorry. Do you find yourself like constantly like replying to messages all the time? Because I just feel like, you know, once you message someone, like within when you do like a power hour or hour of power, whatever it is, and then they're like replying, and then like I feel like I would always be on my phone replying to people. Like, how do you not do that?
Yeah, how do you manage that?
Yeah. So when I go through the power hour, I FAM for so many minutes, no matter what. And then, you know, in the section in the power hour where it says 10 minutes ITT in the app, you can also just set a timer for 10 minutes to respond to word. Or if you feel like you worded for 15 minutes yesterday and you have a whole bunch of replies, you don't have to word new people. You can just follow up and move people from W to O, O to R, R to D. Now, I talked about this at my team call the other night, and I can try to make that replay public. After you've done 30 days of ITT training and then 30 days of consistent social media training as written in the workbook, that next 30 days, so like your 60 to 90 days, you might customize that. I'm going to let you in on the secret that I shouldn't let you in on. I don't fam every day because I will add 25 new friends in 10 minutes and I will work those friends all week long. I will word them, I will ITT them. So I don't do everything all day. I don't do all the things every day anymore, but I'm consistent. I always add 25 new friends every week, every single week. Does that make sense? So what you want to do is follow it as written until it becomes second nature to you. And it doesn't allow you to cheat because you're going to skip the uncomfortable parts. You're like, I'm going to go find friends. Oh, I ran out of time. Okay, I found friends. Oops, ran out of time again. You're never going to go word them. You know, you're never going to start the conversation. So if you follow it as written, you're going to get good at the skills and overcome the fear. Then you can kind of play with it a little bit. I mean, it's overwhelming if you add 25 friends. You can word them for like weeks and get them into the ITT, and you could be closing them. That could be enough. Next, she wants to know how to make Pro 7 11 months step by step. Honestly, it's right there in that workbook. I'm not kidding you. I mean, the only thing I did that was maybe that would have been faster is I was sick. So I called up everybody that had ever known me as sick. That's pretty much the only leg up I had. Because when they saw me, they're like, wait, you're not gray anymore. What's going on? You know, so that's the only thing that I had that went faster. But the ladies who went Pro 5 under me, like we just did a call, Clint and I, with the Pro 5. She made Pro 5 in 7 months in my business. She didn't even have Facebook. She literally created Facebook profile and everything just to do the social media training as I've given it to you guys. So if she can go to Pro 5 in 7 months, pretty sure anyone can. Just consistently do that behavior, and that will help you go faster.
So with what Tiana was mentioning about messages coming in after you've done your hour of work that day, do you turn your phone off and then just schedule in times? I mean, not turn off, just ignore the messages and then schedule in 2 or 3 times through that day to just answer those, like, 10-minute sections here and there?
Yeah, I don't use, so I think some of you, Talita, I might have done this to you. I don't talk to friends or teammates in Facebook Messenger. I use Telegram. So I will tend to Telegram throughout my day, like whenever I'm sitting doing nothing out, because my team's in Telegram. That's where I spend most of my time, is supporting them. But my Facebook Messenger time, my Instagram Messenger time is scheduled, and I'm only in there like 3 to 4 times a day at most, usually 2, morning and night, for my power hours, but that's it. So I probably have hundreds of unread messages, but that just means my funnel is full, and all I have to do is go through and follow up whenever I need to follow up, right? So once or twice a week, I might sit down and spend like 40 minutes or 45 minutes just going just through Messenger. And here's a secret tip that you may or may not know. When you're in Messenger, if you click on a message and you read it, and you're like, you don't need to respond, you're waiting for that person to respond, you can actually archive it, and it will move it out of your inbox. And then if they reply, it'll put it back in your inbox. Okay. You can also delete on your Facebook app, click the notifications bell and hit the 3 dots to remove the notification. Because I work my notifications. Okay, here's another advanced tip. The new friends that you just added, mark them as see first, or like the little star, so that every time they post, you get notified. And then remove, like, hide or unfollow everybody that doesn't matter. Like if you're friends with your dad and you really don't care what he posts, like just unfollow him, but you're still friends. I star my new friends so that all their posts show up, and then I don't scroll. I only look at my notifications. And then I'll just click the 3 dots and be like, okay, so someone posted in like a freedom group, I don't need to read it. Or I'll read it and I'll go comment on it for giving value, and then I'll delete the notification. So I'll do that for 10 or 15 minutes. I do not scroll. I never scroll. That's not how I find people to comment on. So does that help?
That's huge. I think that's a lot of my team's challenge is that
The scroll hole,
the
yes.
scroll hole, and also so they just avoid it altogether, but instead
Yeah.
making it really, really work well. Yeah, Katie says we need a whole training on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So just play with that where you can prioritize and unfollow and hide. So when you look at your notifications and you're like, okay, this one group has so many comments and I'm not actually working that group because it's not my avatar. It's just a group like a local, like I got boxes in the back of my car to move, right? So I can now unfollow that group or just hit highlights only. So whenever you see notifications coming up, if you're like, hey, this doesn't help me with my business, I'm going to go unfollow this page. You don't have to unlike a friend. You just unfollow. So they're not like, if it's a lot of my downline, I shut off notifications so their stuff doesn't come in my notifications. I can go check their feed for them anytime they want feedback back on social media. I can still message them and it'll go in their inbox, but I don't have to get notifications. So I work my notifications and I work Messenger. I really don't ever scroll. And then you can click the groups page and pin your favorite groups that you're working. And when I say working, I'm looking for friends in those groups. Pin your favorite groups and only work your pinned groups. And if you find yourself thinking those groups are boring, unpin it and find another one. So then when you look at your pinned groups, your priority groups are at the top.
That's huge.
Just little tips, it's just phenomenal, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
She's the star when it comes to social media.
Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much. I'm just going to finish up with asking, has anyone got any more questions before we let these amazing people go for now? For now, because I think that we're going to call them back in again. Let's just give a huge thanks to both of you. Like Clinton, Sarah, you guys are sitting in your car on a Friday afternoon, evening, talking to a team that is absolutely not connected with your business. And that in itself is this LifeVantage community, the LifeVantage tribe, LifeVantage, just the feel of the whole company. And we really appreciate you stepping out and giving people that commitment to support us, even though we're not connected. Has anyone got anything to share or just finish off with questions so we can let them go? Yeah, thank you so much. All right, so hands up if we want to call them back. Who wants them back again in a month or two? Yeah. So I'll be talking to both of you. Thank you, Sarah and Clinton. You guys rock. I know that your life is pretty hectic, just like ours, and showing us that LifeVantage, no matter where you are and what you do, is worth it. So committing your business and your time to this business is going to change your family's life, as it has your family. Thank you so much for inspiring us, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clinton.
Grateful to meet all of you guys. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Sounds great. All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a great Saturday and Friday. Bye.